You're watching Paul Ryan's Rise, a News 3 Campaign 2012 special.
And welcome back. Paul Ryan has spoken early and often about the Obama stimulus package, saying it failed.
So shortly after joining the ticket, Ryan took heat for signing letters requesting dollars for his district. And that's not the only time that he's asked for help. In 2009, GM Janesville closed for good, but not before Ryan voted to bail out the automaker and lobbied the company to stay open with an incentive package. News 3's Theo Keith explains Ryan's role and how his hometown has benefited from government help.
Just 2 miles, but a world away from Paul Ryan's home, the sun sets over an industrial park. The giant sprawled out here has long been asleep. For years, the General Motors plant made Chevys. It paid mortgages and got kids through college, too.
What's the Power Rangers about today?
As GM went, so did Janesville, and so it did for Chris Sitter. His kids will not get an education paid for with assembly line grit.
I saw the tears that last day, and I couldn't wait to get out of there, to be honest.
In December 2008, he was laid off from Lear, a GM supplier. The ripple effect left 11,000 without work that month. 16 years of assembling front seats for SUVs meant nothing, so Sitter went back to school.
Almost 3/4 to full classes of auto workers.
He, like Janesville, went looking for a new identity. As Paul Ryan moved up the ranks in Washington, he was trying to prevent a crisis back home.
$2.5 billion payroll. We lost $250 million of payroll in 1 year.
Janesville Democrat Tim Cullen and Ryan are from different political parties, but for their city that saw GM every time it looked in the mirror, they worked together.
He did a lot of things, had a lot of meetings, met with a lot of GM people, and what impressed me was he never put out a press release. He never tried to take credit for each individual act. He was just trying to win.
As you can see, the effort didn't pay off. GM Janesville is in permanent standby mode, but the government has helped in other ways here in Janesville's rebirth. In fact, it's given a lot of money to this city to try to get employers to hire new workers.
The examples dot this blue-collar city. One of them is in this building, left empty after its former owner followed GM out of town.
Business is good. You know, a couple years ago it was rough.
Brian Hollis is vice president at Fab Masters, a custom metal fabricator that moved in. The state gave the city of Janesville $5 million after GM left. Nearly 30,000 went to Fab Masters and allowed the company to move into the bigger space.
Other than that, we'd still be struggling, but now it's also helping us bring more employees into our company.
Those are a handful of 1,500 estimated jobs that have come back to Janesville or are in progress. Down the road, $1.2 million in federal stimulus money is paying for an innovation center where startup companies get space and a corporate coach.
So we've made significant progress. Doesn't mean we don't have a long ways to go.
John Beckert is president of Forward Janesville, making him one of the city's biggest cheerleaders. He's also a Ryan supporter and says private businesses are responsible for most of the growth.
I don't think the rebirth of Rock County can be traced to federal assistance. It's a factor, but it's one of many factors, and quite frankly, it's quite far down the list.
The book isn't finished, but that is Janesville's story.
Daddy. Thank you.
So what about Chris Sitter? He put General Motors in the past, and he doesn't think Paul Ryan or anybody else could have saved it.
They think that it's easy, that all Governor Doyle or Paul Ryan or whoever it was have to do is wave the little wand they have and, oh, Jim's going to open the plant again. And, you know, unless you're in that situation and have dealt with it and seen all the stuff that we've gone through over the last 4 or 5 years, you're not going to really know, how much goes into it.
In May, Sitter graduated from Black Hawk Technical College's Medical Lab Tech program. He's working at Mercy Hospital in Janesville and earning about what he was when he got laid off. A man and a city no longer tied to the plant.
I love doing what I do. It's like living the dream.
For Campaign 2012, I'm Theo Keith, News 3.
But not everyone out of work has been so fortunate. Rock County reporter Margot Spann spoke to 3 people who all headed back to class to retrain, but have found little traction so far.